Welcome back to the Manor. Julian McBain here, and we are in Entropia, which is a change of pace for us. It's been a while since I've live streamed Entropia. Actually, a couple of years, I think. With the exception of my New Year's streams. You know what? Screw it. Let's go in a different direction. Okay, well, before we get too deep into it, if you're new to the channel, welcome to the Manor. Please take a moment and subscribe down below. We are on the road to 13 million subscribers, one subscription at a time, so make sure you subscribe. And as always, please try to go over to patreon.com/JulianMcBain if you want to support my work. If you do, you'll get exclusive content. And I hope to see you there. Okay. So Entropia Universe. It has been a hot minute since I live streamed this one. Let's see if I even remember how to live stream Entropia Universe. Do I even have enough sword? Oh yeah. Oh yeah, no, we got plenty of sword. Okay. One thing about hunting these robots is their range. Pain in the ass. I end up next to my rock anyway. Ugh. Hey cat, how's it going? Trying to see if I can remember how to do this. Entropia Live. Normally I'm talking philosophy and shit. Oh. Yes, that is a panda. It's one of my pets. It can dance. I actually find the pets a lot of fun in this. It's not like the pets in like World of Warcraft, which I enjoyed a lot too, especially even before they did the pet battle thing, the wannabe Pokemon thing. But I think it's actually I'm honestly really disappointed that the Compat project never actually went anywhere, because I think that it would have been, I think that EU could have done as good or better a job than WoW did with that sort of thing. And being able to do the tricks, and then they get they lose focus and they earn less experience over time. But it helps your pet taming abilities. I just find the pets fun. So all of the pets I have are, I've got a Rover, who I've named Patrick using a pet name tag, which is the name of my very first dog. Patrick was half Lhasa Apso, half Toy Poodle, and 100% Snob Dog. And, but you never forget your first dog. You know, to be honest, he wasn't a very nice dog for the most part. He was grouchy and ornery, and his favorite person in the whole wide world was we had an older gentleman, World War II vet, lived with us in the final years of his life. he hadn't had any family left, and Patrick, Patrick loved him, and he loved Patrick. They were just two ornery old men, just groused about everything. Yes, it can dance. I want to see what tricks it has at level 10. Like, I slowly grind up all my pets because they only learn by, or get experience by doing tricks and by just walking around with you. And I'll be honest, I don't have the patience to just do trick after trick after trick. I've tried doing that, but it's not a huge amount faster than just having them out around you. I mean, it is, but you have to, like, bring their focus all the way down to 0, and then you go and you fight for a while the focus goes back up, and then you do it again. It's not very much different from swunting. But as an example, let's we'll pop out a couple of the other pets. So you've got Patrick, who is level 10, and he has a bigger list, so he can greet. And in fact, let's get out of the area where I will get hurt. No spawning robots while we're playing with our pets. So this is my very first pet in game. And I actually leveled this guy from level 1 in dance. And bow. Oh, too soon. And roll over. And boast. Oh, I have never seen that before. That's adorable. Then we have Whiskers, who's level 6. Greet, dance, bow, roll over. Whiskers is the rare cat. So I'm just gonna go with the dances. Okay, so we've had a rover. Then we've got the Asclarius. I actually bought this one. This is the only pet that I bought this guy on auction. He was already level 20. This is the only one that I've actually gone out of my way to purchase. My Lara was actually a gift to me from one of my subscribers. Let's see if he... I want to make sure I get his name right. Morgan Gecko. And he has several unique ones. So first off is greet. Oh, he actually says hello. No shit. Did not know that. Dance. Attack. Take a knee. And my personal favorite, feign death. So yeah. Right now, what I usually do is I keep them out until their energy hits about 50%, because I want to keep them fed so they don't lose their happiness. So when you first get a pet, their affection and mood are both at 0%, and they have no food, generally speaking. So they're starving, and they don't trust you, and they're really, really upset. Totally understandable. All of a sudden they've been tamed. So you feed them Nutrio bars, right? For those of you who are new to Entropia, or you feed them these Nutrio bars, and that feeds them. And then that's how they get their energy, and that's how you they start to gain affection and gain mood. And when their affection is high enough, they actually give an XP boost to the animal. And, I'm sorry, when the mood is high enough, it affects their ability to gain experience. And when they love their master, when their affection's up high enough, the pet's secondary abilities, the passive effects, can go into effect. So like with this pet, it's not high enough level to give me any passive effects. Hey Scotty, how's it going? I'm doing pretty well. I'm basically on intermission between games. I've been recommended to order a PS2 game called Champions of Norath, but as it has to be ordered secondhand, my best resource is eBay, and I want to research the shops before I buy it from someone, because eBay is one of those places where you get some really good people and you get some really skeezy people. So I'm going to do my research and find a proper, I'm going to do it right. And so I was vacillating between two games today. I wasn't sure if I wanted to play Kingdom Hearts or Fallout 4 next, and so I'm playing Entropia Universe instead, which I think is not a bad idea. See how many skill pills I can kill off. Actually, that's a fixed number. We know how long they last. I actually kind of miss streaming Entropia Universe. Usually I'm playing single player games on stream, and I actually enjoy that. I do. But there's something to be said about having a conversation with people, and in single player games it's often hard to do because you have to be super focused on it. And in some of the more immersive games like Subnautica, I'd often miss messages for a while. And with Entropia, it's just chill as hell, so you can have the conversations with the chat. And I think that's one of the biggest advantages to this game for live streaming. Whoops. It would be helpful if I actually picked up the loot. Do I really have that many loot pills? You know what? Screw it. Once we're done with this guy, I'm taking a loot pill. It's been so long since I've used an auto loot pill, I've got 41 of them. Oh my god. I actually usually save them for mayhems, because they cut down on time between kills. Since Mayhem's a competition, of which Halloween Mayhem's coming up here at some point, the loot pills allow you to not think about having to loot the mob, and you can just move on to the next target. And so I generally save them for Mayhem. First thing I do is start clicking on the mob to loot it. I would agree with you, Scotty. Some MMOs it's easier than others. Like with Entropia, it's super easy. I think Virtueverse will be somewhere in the middle. WoW, it'll depend on what you're doing. If you're just out in like overworld play, yeah, super easy to do. But if you are in a dungeon, or in a raid especially, there's no time to be interacting with anybody. especially if you're with one of the high-powered guilds, or if you're with if you're pugging with a group, because they don't stop for nothing. And there was a time I was actually a member of I actually led a guild. We were about 9 strong, and we were challenging 10-man raids with one person missing, and we were doing pretty good. We weren't high level or anything, high powered or anything like that, but the 10-person raids were a lot of fun. And when you do it with 8 or 9, it becomes that much more challenging. And the only thing we realized is you had to have the 2 necessities. You have to have 2 tanks. You have to have 2 healers, because otherwise it doesn't work. Now I've stopped playing Blizzard games. I'm still pissed off at them about the kowtowing to the. I'm pissed off at them over political reasons. We'll just leave it there. And apparently they've like pissed off a lot of their employees too. Although I don't know if that was Activision or Blizzard, because they are separate divisions. They're technically one company, but insofar as I can tell, they're only in the most technical sense of the term the same company. Global 62 ped. Thank you, Cyrene. That was pretty good. I will admit, I'm sorely tempted to try the remaster of Diablo 2. I've never finished Diablo 2. I've only gotten to the second area, and I love Diablo. I've played all through Diablo 3. I've played a good chunk of Diablo 2. I've never played Diablo 1. Good Old Games has Diablos 1 and 2. And I've actually thought about doing like an all Diablo stream. My only problem is my Diablo 3 account has prestige levels. So I'd have to deliberately go in to play no prestige levels. Like they'd still be there, but I wouldn't use them. Hey Melky, how's it going? So for those of you who don't know, Melky has given a lot of really good feedback. He did an experiment regarding large ped swunting, high ped swunting. So 100 ped runs on a swunt to see what the P&L would be. And my plan is to have my analysis of his data come out on Sunday. Assuming everything goes well. Now, I will say this. I have an event that I'm actually hosting next weekend. Not this weekend, but next weekend. And so, I don't know. It'll depend on what... how much time I have to really dig into the meat of the numbers, because I'd originally planned on taking like a good chunk of the day that I was going to do that video, really dig into the numbers, analyze the whole thing, and come out with my analysis along with the raw data. And that's my intention. And a huge thanks to Melky, Robert Miller in chat, for providing that data to me. The data are pretty robust, and it's really good to have. But to do it justice, I want to do it right. So my plan is to do it for this Sunday. I can't make any guarantees. If it's not this Sunday, it will be 2 Sundays from now, because next Sunday, I don't even know if I'm going to have a video for next Sunday. Okay? Because, yeah, I'm going to have like 50 people at my house. There's going to be sword fighting. It's going to be great. So yeah, that's the thing. But no, there's a lot of good data therein, and what's this? Oh, auto loot. And so when that video comes out, just keep an eye out for it. It'll be labeled specifically as such. so you'll be able to see that. Oh yeah, for anyone watching this, if you haven't already, go subscribe to Scotty. Scotty_C93. Even though he far surpassed me in subscribers a long time ago. Let's get him to 1,000 subs this year if we can, eh? The man works hard, he deserves it. Hey Orlando, actually you just missed one. But I think we'll get another. I have faith that we will get another. Cyrene actually is a really, really good loot table. Like if y'all haven't hunted on Cyrene, go hunt on Cyrene. Cyrene's a good planet to hunt at the edge of your skill. Like in that sweet spot, not the upper edge, but in the sweet spot of your skill where you're cycling a lot of ped for your level because of the loot tables. And I find that overall, if you include skills, you're at least break even if you're at the right. If you find your sweet spot, you're break even easily, and oftentimes you're coming out with a profit. But we're not talking huge amounts of money, right? I mean, let's be realistic. But I've had nights where if you do all the profit and loss, I'm coming out with like 5 or 6 ped on top of above what I started with, which is pretty impressive actually. I mean, yeah, okay, it's 50 cents in USD, but it's still, and for a real cash MMO, coming out with a profit at all is a miracle, and that's before markup. Now, admittedly, not a lot of Cyrene mats command any markup at all or any real trade amount because Cyrene is not a high population planet. But I think it's worthwhile. I'm glad to be back. This is the only planet I make it a specific point to visit every single year. And I spend at least a month here every single year since I started. And this year, I'm spending a little extra time. So, oh, good. I've never seen the Cyrene Mentor armor. For some reason, I thought it was Pixie, just like on Calypso. Now, obviously, I was wrong. Because I know some planets, if they don't have their own armor, it defaults to Pixie. And I'll be honest, I'm not a fan of Pixie. And it's not because of the name, it's just because it looks like, honestly, it looks like ghost armor that's been painted yellow with lower stats. That's the reason I don't like Pixie. But the Turellian armor, this shit's baller, to quote a friend of mine. The Turellian, I love the Turellian armor. I wish they had a higher level Turellian armor, like a ghost level Turellian armor, because I would 100% wear that over ghosts. Because, I mean, from a sci-fi perspective, it looks pretty good. But I also kind of look like a stormtrooper in a Borderlands mask. You know what I'm saying? It's like Jason Voorhees was here in the 24th century. Thank you, Melky. I appreciate that. You know, that's what I should have done. So I played Sly Cooper most recently as my kind of like a snacky game between two really meaty games. And that's what I'm going to try to do. I want to try to start doing like a real meaty game and then have a snacky game, like a Sly Cooper or a Crash Bandicoot. And then do a meaty game and then a snacky game. And so I had a bunch of really meaty games, and so I elected to do a snacky game. Actually, at Kat's suggestion, I played Sly Cooper, and I got through that in only 7 weeks. And so my next meaty game will be whichever one I pick between Fallout 4 and Kingdom Hearts, with which I haven't decided yet. And then I think that for my Snacky Game, between that and Champions of Norath, I think I'm going to pick up Untitled Goose Game. Oh, okay. Did not know that. That is really good information, Orlando. So, okay, so what Orlando Escobar said in chat, for those of you who are watching this on mobile or just listening to it like a podcast. When you get your mentor armor on Cyrene, it will default to Pixie. If you submit a support ticket, they will swap it for the Cyrene armor. That's really good information to have. Is that thing stuck in the rock? Okay, let's do this. It is, it's stuck. Let's see if it ends up going unreachable. It went unreachable. Shit. Let's see if we can't get up to it and, well, reach it. Excuse me, latency? Would you kindly? There we go. That was quite the list of stuff. Getting in the 2 million shrapnel range. Ugh. For 500 ped worth of ammo. Didn't get much in shrap this time. Hopefully the loot will justify it. I've actually been cycling a metric shit ton of ped. Not much in depot though. If I have to, I will depot later tonight, but I'm trying to avoid it for the time being. I want to see how long I can go without depoting and just cycling what I've got and seeing if I advantage or disadvantage. Which, of course, in the long run, it's likely to turn disadvantage, but if you advantage high enough, then you can use some of that advantage to purchase shares, which are a permanent advantage because that's just passive income coming in. I'm just going to see who PM'd me. Yes, I comment. Why are they asking me for advice? Not that I'm complaining, but that's surprising. I'm just a random Joe. So it's unlimited, but I don't know what the market value is on that. And that's... It's not a TT item, I can guarantee that. I mean, it's cool and all, but I wouldn't pay 270 ped for a knife that does 5 damage. That's just me. I mean, some people are collectors. And that's legit. Like, I totally respect that. I totally respect that. If you're a rare hunter, or they called them rare hunters in, oh, he's one of my friends. Oh, it's, okay. It's just been a while since Afro's interacted with me. Sorry about that, Afro. It's been a hot minute. If it's just me, I mean, like, and I'm the kind of person, I'm a bit of a rare hunter, but not in this game. Not yet. I'm not at that point yet. Like, I got offered the Black Tux. which good luck finding one. And to be fair to the person selling it to me, the price they were offering it for wasn't awful. But I couldn't justify paying for a clothing item, and it was going to be a couple $100 all told. Like they were offering full outfit from hat all the way down to shoes. And I couldn't do it. I wanted to. But basically I would be paying what I would actually pay for a real suit for an in-game tuxedo. And I have a hard time justifying that. At least with my current financial situation. You know, I'm not strapped for cash or anything like that. I'm not trying to say I'm poor, but at the same time, I'm still paying back my debts. You know what I'm saying? I'm still paying my dues to society for the mistakes I made when I was a 20-something moron, so. Okay, Scotty, so what would you say, Scotty? Is it worth 270 ped? Because if it is, I'll contact Afro and be like, hey, dude, you know. Oh, Orlando, you got it in one. I probably have the most expensive associate's degree you ever did see. Because, yeah. I celebrated when I dropped underneath $100,000 in student loan debt. Okay, so there's the answer. I'm going to let him know. And the only reason I name dropped you, Scotty, is because you're in chat. Yeah, it was 4 years ago, but I mean, even so, that knife isn't going to get that much more valuable in just 4 years. Some shit's got to go down for that to be a 270 ped knife, right? It had to be removed from the game or something. It would have to be like a, what the hell is the name of those AoE chips that Bonnie has a bunch of? Criminy, I can't remember what they're called, but they're so for the Mind Force chips, they actually do area of effect damage, and Mind Arc used to have them, and there was a specific name for them. That's fair, Scotty. Bonnie's got a bunch of them, but they removed them from the game, which means as soon as those limited ships are done, they're done. Which makes me really sad, because I totally would walk into the game with frickin' AoE chips. If there was a UL AoE chip, I would 100% be there just like dropping AoEs. When I played WoW, I played as a Death Knight, and we called it D&D as Death and Decay. It's an AoE, and it's like the first thing you do. You leap into combat, you drop Death and Decay, and you just tank it like a boss. Yeah, there's no market information on it, Scotty. I don't understand why there's not even an option for market value on it. It's like the pets. It's just no info at all. I think we're going to have another person in stream here pretty quick. Good question. Let's pop goes. Oh. No, son of a bitch. Unignore. Bad. SI combat knife. So here's the knife. It's got 2.5 to 5. Good durability, which for a UL weapon, that's actually pretty remarkable. The durability alone is pretty remarkable. The efficiency, not so much. 55.6, eh. And you can't amp it up, and so that's one thing going against it. Look how high of a level you need to be to use it. Why would you need 32.1 and 29? This is not a beginner weapon. This is like the Katsuichi series, so I'm going to pin this for a sec. And then I've got the Katsuichi Honor in here. And so here's the Katsuichi weapon. And it's a pretty mid-level damage weapon. But it's designed for level 100 players. And so that's a huge difference. This is a weapon you use when you're level 100 to do efficient lower level hunting. Like this is at 65.8% efficiency rating. But that rating's only valid when you're above the level it requires. You suffer an efficiency when you are not the proper level for the weapon. I mean, if I threw my trauma amplifier on that, that would actually make it a pretty robust weapon. Once all is said and done, once I'm level 100. But I'm not even halfway there. Like, from a raw grind level, I'm not even close. But from a level, strictly a level perspective, I'm only level 48. I'm still not even halfway there from just a strict numbers perspective. And since the experience curve in this game and on this platform is I think it's called parabolic. It's the Pareto principle. It's very much designed so that every level requires more than the level before. We're not just talking just raw experience. We're talking like exponential increases in requirements. I'm still probably... I would not be surprised if it took me another half decade to make it to level 100. And I grind fairly regularly. Wait. Wait, am I really that dumb? Did I really read that ass backwards? I totally believe it. Yeah, I'm that dumb. I fucking read that ass backwards. Oh my god. It's a level 0 weapon. And you know, the worst part is I had the other one next to it to compare it, so I should have seen that. And I didn't because I'm blind. That's okay, though. Time for another skill pill. I love how my frickin' inventory is just like loaded with drugs. I'm a walking pharmacy. Yeah, right? Actually, to be fair, I do need new glasses, and I don't want to go back to the frickin' eye doctor. I don't have insurance, and I mean, it's not that expensive, but it's just like, I need tires, I need glasses. Just a pain in the ass. And you know, every dollar I spend on regular life needs, I can't spend on Entropia Universe. I'm kidding. Smart man Afro. Or smart person Afro, sorry. Shouldn't make assumptions. Yes, it does. Oh. No, I think you did the right thing, Afro. There are some unscrupulous players. There are global 55 pet. Thank you, Cyrene. Ludius is with us. Like, I don't know who controls the loot, like the global algorithm on Cyrene. It might still be Mindark. I don't know how the planet partner contracts work. I do know that each planet sets its own loot tables. Yeah, that is very interesting. And I don't know why. It might have something to do with, you know what, I wonder if default is in there so that when making a buying decision, you know that there's no special modifications to it. Because it's not adjusted, it's not perfected or anything like that. And I wonder if they put the default in there early on in the game and they just haven't removed it to be able to differentiate between the different quality levels that they might have planned to implement later on and just never did. Which, who knows, with the game migrating to UE5 sometime in the next half decade or so, we might see changes. I'm actually really looking forward to watching EU migrate. And so I think that there's going to be a lot of good stuff that comes from that. Now, again, UE5 is brand new. It's not even out yet. It's going to take some time to do that migration. I would not be surprised if it's several years. And then everything's going to break. And we're going to have to figure shit out. And it's all going to be new shit again. So we'll figure it out from there. Man, I would be tickled pink if I got off. I've gotten one solo Hoth ever. I'm going to repeat that. I've gotten a single solo Hoth ever. I've gotten a couple group Hoths, but it was always against boss mobs. So like when Monria introduced what the hell, it's a blue Yogg. I can't remember what it's the Dunwich Horror. When they introduced the Dunwich Horror, every time you kill the Dunwich Horror, it's a Hoth. but it's not really a Hoff because it's just that big of a fucking mob and everyone gets a piece of it. So it's not like a solo Hoff. I'm not saying it's not a Hoff. It's not a solo Hoff. Let's put it that way. There's a huge difference. Yes! Yes! Entropia VR, like true Entropia VR. I'm so there for it. I got my Oculus ready. I am so there for it. I will cry if it's not Oculus compatible. Because Oculus isn't as compatible as the Vive is. Which really disappointed me because I totally would have gone for a Vive, but it's like twice the price of an Oculus. And I had saved for 2.5 years for an Oculus Rift. Or for a VR headset. So I set my mind on the Oculus. It was the original. And so I decided to go for it. And it took me 4 months to figure out how to make it work with my computer. Because for whatever reason, the software... So my computer was Oculus ready when I bought it back in 2016. In fact, I had bought the computer planning on doing VR stuff later on. And I was actually really mad at myself for buying it because I had spent money that I had set aside for that purpose, but then my brother passed away and I could have used that money to go back to his to come home for his memorial. But anyway, I mean, you don't plan those things, so of course I got over it fairly quickly. But I used the software in the computer, but it's not for the Rift S, it's for the basic Rift. And it took me a while to figure out it's a totally different software package. Because the Rift S is a lot more capable than the Rift. Yeah, I'm not VR swunting shit. No. If I'm VR playing Entropia Universe, I'm doing one of two things. I'm doing what I'm doing right now, which would still be exhausting because I've played Orbis VR, and that is a tiring-ass game. I've also played Gorn, which, oh my god. I'm a sports fighter, okay? Like, I am a sports fighter. I get into the ring, I swing the steel. I've done IMCF, I've done Armored Combat League. Like we're talking hardcore. You're, like, beating the shit out of each other with metal weapons, right? I do fencing for the most part. Historical fencing for the most part. SCA HEMA stuff. You're playing a game like Orbis or Gorn and you're swinging around like that. It's a fucking workout. And it's amazing. But you're exhausted after like 45 minutes. Yes, proximity chat would be amazing. They actually have that in Orbis. It works really well. The only thing it sucks for is doing videos because they'll be like, who the hell is this person talking to? Oh, they're doing a video. Okay, that's cool. And that actually showed up in my my exclusive. It was my non-exclusive exclusive Patreon, which you can find at patreon.com/JulianMcBain, where I did an Orbis VR video. And it was a lot of fun to do. It was a lot of fun. I'm telling you though, VR for content creation is a pain in the ass. You have to have a producer. You really do. And thankfully I have a producer that's kind of built in because I have a son who loves doing that stuff. He also produces content. He has produced content. I don't know how dedicated he's been to it lately, but you know, but you have to have a producer to do it or else it just doesn't. Or you have to do a lot of video editing, which for those who can do video editing, it's legit. You guys are awesome. I can't do that shit, okay? I lack the skill, and I 100% have no shame in that fact. You're right, Afro. There's one... I'm going to put a caveat in there. Because of the limited controls you have when you're playing in VR, Because especially if you're using full motion, like if you're doing, so like a game like Elite Dangerous, which you play at your keyboard, or with a joystick setup, which I think is better, which I've never played, but that's a game at 100% play because it's totally me. Push to talk makes sense without issue. In a game like EU or like Orbis, you have to have a push to talk on your controller. And they don't necessarily allow controller customization. Most of those, I haven't found a VR game that allows controller customization. So it'd have to be an in-game option. And from what I can tell, it's not an option in any of those games. But no, Entropia Universe VR would make me spend a lot more time in VR. Like, I love VR. I don't get a lot of opportunity to play in VR because of just time. VR is very time intensive. And here's what I mean by that. So, for VR, there is a setup time and a cooldown time on top of the play time. Now, setup with like a Rift S is not huge. I'm sure it's the same with the Vive. It's probably even less so with like a Quest or one of the standalones. The setup time is not huge. You plug it in, you get the whole thing set up, probably 10, 15 minutes on the outside, right? Once you have all the stuff set up, like the downloads and all that shit. Then you have the playtime, and your computer is going to generate shit tons of heat while you play. So if you haven't gotten into VR very much, or if you're new to VR, I have a Republic of Gamers G20 with a GTX 970, which is VR compatible if you have the right fucking VR software instead of using the wrong one. It is compatible. It does work for most VR games. I only have one that has a couple of issues, and that's the Lab. Valve's The Lab, which is basically you're in Aperture Laboratories, and you get to do a bunch of fun stuff. I love the Lab. Don't get me wrong. It does skip in a couple of small places because it's extremely intensive. But yeah, if you're gonna be swinting in a video, Melky, you gotta be doing like a lot of my videos. They don't focus on gameplay; they focus on other shit. I think you could be fairly successful doing that. But if you're just talking about swinting, that might be one or two videos. But I think you could be a success. I mean, if you find your niche, anyone can be a successful streamer or content creator. Finding the niche is the monster bitch. But anyway, the motion sickness. Yeah, I could see where that could be a problem, but you develop your VR legs. Up is Not Jump has a really good joke about that in his Elite Dangerous is a Nightmare video. Go watch it. Where was I? VR. Oh, heat. My computer is designed. It's designed to operate at 110 degrees Fahrenheit constantly. And for my friends that use, real measurements, that's about 43 degrees Celsius. So it's actually designed to run hot. Like that's the way it's designed. It's designed to run hot. And I've looked into this. No. Asus designs their gaming rigs to run hot. They build the chips to deal with it. And in the summer, with air conditioners on, I have gotten too warm. Now, there isn't an air conditioner in my room, but there is one in the room next to mine, and we use strategically located fans to operate them. This winter, when the temperatures really drop, I want to run a couple of tests where I am running the games in VR and see if it can warm my room on its own. I'll have to run this when it gets cold, but before we start the wood stove, because the ventilation for the wood stove is far better than it is for the oil furnace. Oh. I'm out of ammo. Not anymore. Yeah, Robert. Honestly, that's one of the things I like about being a content creator is just like when I started, I was actually brand spanking new to EU. If you go watch my older content and can bear through the fact that, you know, I was, you know, well, you have to dare to suck to do this type of thing, okay? And that's one thing I'm dare to be bad, because you don't get good without being bad first. When I started this, I was hunting. Hell, I think my first video I was hunting Daikaba at Twin Peaks. That might have been my first video. I don't even know that I was completely done my puny challenge, Iron Mission. For those of you watching this in the Codex age who have never done Iron Missions predated the Codex. And they were fucking grindy. Thanks, Silver. We're actually going to take a fiver here shortly. So, Afro, you got a PC that's designed to run hot, too. I'm pretty sure, I would not be surprised if mine hits 50 Celsius when I'm running VR. It gets friggin' hot. I'm actually thinking about, there's a place in town, a guy that I went to school with runs a new, he builds custom computers. And I'm thinking about having him rip out all the chips, not rip, but remove all the chips from my existing case and reinstall them in a bigger case. Because the ROG that I bought is a console computer, which means it's not designed to ever be opened. But once the warranty runs out, it doesn't really friggin' matter, and the warranty's been gone for like 4 years. So I might pay him to remove all the chips out of the existing case, or all the stuff out of the existing case, and put it into a bigger case for better airflow. Oh, good lord, Robert. Yes, and thank you, Kat. As a reminder, smash the like button. And I'm going to back off of the line here for a minute, and we're going to take a fiver. And we'll get back to hunting here in just a couple minutes. Grab a drink, grab a snack. We'll be back in 5 or less. Okay, and we're back. And parenting moment I need to share with y'all. Went in to hug my son and tell him to take his nightly shower, and tripped over a box of Legos. Why don't I have any sound? I lost all my sound. Well, that's lovely. Hey, Freakin' Reekin. Can anyone hear the game? I'm not getting any sound on my side. I don't know if it's me or if it's the game. Can y'all hear me? Actually, I didn't step on the Legos. I tripped on the box of Legos and spilled the box, so I had to pick them up. The irony is, here's the best part. Are you ready? I know for a fact that at least half the Legos in that box were mine at one point. I'm going to back up. I'm going to cycle the game, and I'm going to see if I can't get sound back. So bear with me just a second. Okay. So here's what we're going to do. I am going to put back up the We'll Be Back card. I'm going to exit the game. And I'm going to pop back into it. Sometimes that happens. I don't know why it happens, but sometimes that happens. It's whenever I change from one, like when I log in, whatever speaker is being used, that one tends to be the one that has to be the same one. And if it gets disconnected, you lose all sound until you cycle the game. Pull up my handy dandy authenticator here. If you play Entropia Universe, please get Entropia Pocket and get an authenticator. Okay. That's better. So, okay, now that we have our sound back. So I do want to say this. Like Scotty said, if you're going to be a content creator, there is a financial commitment. Especially for Entropia Universe. But for any content creation, because you got to buy games and stuff like that. For Entropia, budget yourself. Set yourself a budget and decide how much you're willing to spend a month on it for content creation. And hold that line. At least until you make partner. Like, I've been doing this since 2017. I've been a streamer since 18, or not a streamer, but a content creator since 18. And I haven't yet made partner, and so I've fixed a budget, and I do have my Patreon, and that helps. But I stick to the budget, and that's what I do. And if I go over that budget, then I maintain with low level hunting. So, you know, you'll notice some of my I'll do, like, my entire time on Too Long was lower level, but that was primarily because I wanted to get through that one set of codex missions, but also in order to prevent myself from cycling through or having to depot huge amounts of PED during during COVID. So so to answer your game, Afro, here's how I stream on YouTube. So I use OBS, Open Broadcast System, which I find is a fairly decent broadcaster. In fact, my friend JD Green, who is a professional podcaster, like, this is his job. He has sponsors. He was on the local radio. He uses OBS as well. I'm actually the one who told him to use OBS, but he uses OBS as well. And it's actually from his friend Devin Fox, who worked with him in radio and is currently living out west. Then I figured out how to make all of the tiles that you see, like the open tile and the wheel be back tile. He's the one who showed me how to do all that. JD's trying to get me to do a podcast as part of his station. I don't know that I have the time, and it really bugs me. Because I mean, it's a great opportunity, but you have to put the grind in. And with all the other irons I have in the fire, I don't know that I have what I need to dedicate to it. And if I'm going to dedicate it to a guy like JD, I want to make sure I'm 110% there. Oh, shit. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Boom. Okay. We're back. We're actually back. Sorry about that, guys. It should pop back in just a minute. There you go. So, download OBS, and you can both stream and record. You can do both at the same time. Just to understand how much processing power you're going to be using. If you've got an i7, you should be okay. With an i5, it might be a little less. If you've got an i3, I wouldn't. If you've got an i3 or lower, I would not stream. I probably wouldn't even stream. Well, you can probably get away with streaming or recording, but I wouldn't try to do both. I'm not sure that the multi-threading would be enough. So anyway, you download OBS, you set that up however you want to do it. You can do it really simple to start with, at least. Go into studio mode if you're going to have tiles like I do, but you can just do it straight up. You go to YouTube or Twitch, you download the streaming key, you attach it to OBS through the settings, you hit start streaming in OBS, and then when Twitch or YouTube detect it, you hit go live and you're good to go. Now, I've never streamed via Twitch. Scotty, I think, has, so he'll probably be the better resource for that. Dude, you have an i9? That's a flex. That's a flex and a half, man. I'm a little jelly here. I only use one monitor, but I have a laptop. So if I had two monitors, I would totally do it. And actually, my boss, who is also a gamer, picks on me because not only do I game, but I stream and I only have one monitor. Right? So I've got a gamer boss, which is hilarious because you can't get away with shit as a gamer when you have a gamer for a boss. Because he tracks all the important games, and when X-Packs come out, when expansions come out, or DLC, he checks to see who calls out. He's like, you weren't sick, you were playing the DLC. So I've never tried that, but my boss was huge into EQ. So that's how long he's been a gamer, but he picks on me because I do gaming and I do streaming with one monitor, but I have a Chromebook that I use to monitor chat and stuff. Yeah, Scotty, so I believe you've done Twitch streaming, if I'm not mistaken, and I don't know Twitch, like, at all, but I know how to do it on YouTube, and Afro had asked about how to stream. Oh, stream on YouTube. Okay, so stream on YouTube. It's real easy. You download OBS, full screen gaming. You have to get in, if you get into Entropia Universe before you get into OBS, you're gonna have to move around some in EU for it to pick up the stream. Once it picks it up, hit download. You get the stream key from YouTube. You would plug it into OBS. You would go start streaming in OBS, and then you hit go live in YouTube, and then you're live. I'm kind of oversimplifying it a little bit, but I know I actually found YouTube videos to help me set up my first stream. So just look up how to stream with OBS on YouTube, and you'll be able to find a stream that explains it far better than I can. And OBS is free. Like, it has its hiccups. I love OBS. and it's free, which you can't really beat that with a stick. You can't. Scotty, do you use OBS? For something that's like free, it's pretty versatile. I used it when I ran my podcast. Like I said, my friend JD, he uses it for his podcast. Of the other people whose content I really pay attention to, I don't know if I don't think Lorespeed uses OBS. I'm almost positive Serial Overdrive does, although Serial, if you catch this on a replay, correct me if I'm incorrect. Please correct me if I'm wrong. But I know I'm almost positive at some point he did, because I remember hearing him talk about it. Okay, you use Streamlabs. So, I've never had a problem, Afro. Whether or not you decide to trust it is totally, that's your jam. It actually surprises me it's telling you to turn off malware protection. I've never had that issue. So, hang on. I just put the link to the website in the chat. So, if that's where you're downloading it from, it's legit. If it's from somewhere else, dump it. And I have checked this for viruses with both WebRoot and with Kaspersky Labs. So with American antivirus and Russian antivirus. And neither one has blacklisted it. And between the two, it would have caught something. Because the only reason I switched from WebRoot from Kaspersky was, well, primarily because I worked for Best Buy at the time, and their software was WebRoot. And there were, incentives, like discounts, in order to use the software that your company uses. I 100% trust Kaspersky, even though we have less than friendly ties with the Russian government. But it's called Kaspersky Lab because it let you actually fuck around with the things that it quarantined. In fact, I have an ex-girlfriend who works in IT, and I watched her turn a virus into a text document using Kaspersky. I don't even know how she did it. She managed to change the path. I don't know. So at the end of a file, you've got the .exe or the .txt or the .docx and all that stuff. She changed it from an executable or a DLL to a text doc, so you could just go in and look at it in Notepad. Funniest thing, I'm like, this is a piece of malware. Someone put effort into trying to steal your shit with this. She just turns it into a text document so she can look at the notebook. She's like, oh yeah, I see how that works. I'm like, fucking A. I am not a stupid person. I felt like a moron when I watched that. But Kaspersky lets you do that. You know, I'm really starting to miss the jumping spider I had as a roommate a couple of years ago. Because it's that time of year where there's a lot of really tiny-ass flies. And they're small enough to go through the window screens. I've got them at home. I've got them at work. But it's just because they're just so small. And jumping spiders love them. I actually have one at work. That's in one of my windows, and it's got a web inside the screen. So it's safe from things that would eat it, that are much bigger than it, but the flies it needs to munch on can fly through the screen. And it's hilarious. I kind of wish I could keep one as a pet, because jumping spiders are the type... I've seen a photo of a jumping spider that a jeweler who kept jumping spiders as pets gave this really tiny-ass garnet to play with. And play with it did. And he took a high zoom photo. And just seeing the light in the spider's eyes, it was adorable. That is fair, Scotty. That is fair. And I am certainly not of genius level intelligence. I'm not stupid. I'm fairly smart, but yeah, when it comes to specialized knowledge, I have a very narrow band of specialized knowledge. Which I try to expand as much as I can. Oh yeah, you keep pet spiders. Now, Scotty, you have tarantulas, right? Like here in Vermont, the only large spider we have here in Vermont is the wolf spider, and good luck finding one. I had one on my back at one point when I was a kid, and there's a part of me that kind of wishes that I brought it back to the classroom, because I think it would have been a cool pet. There's a part of me that's like, holy shit, this is a big ass spider on my back. But back then I was more arachnophobic. I overcame the arachnophobia that I convinced myself I had, and I realized I really didn't care. It's a spider. Let me pet it. You know? Wolf spiders aren't really petable spiders. Tarantulas are petable spiders. In fact, I dated a woman from Texas for a long time, like 5.5 years. And if you dig up septic tanks, if you work in like sewer, like my dad does, a septic tank in Texas is going to have a tarantula nest on it, like guaranteed, because it never gets cold over the septic tank. So they burrow in there and they hide in there, and they keep warm during the colder months, which in Texas don't generally get that cold, with this previous winter notwithstanding. They had this weird ass cold snap in Texas last year. But that, like, the entire time her and I were dating, that never fucking happened. In fact, I don't ever remember that happening in living memory previous to that. And I mean, I was living in North Dakota for years. And North Dakota has recorded temperatures, same day, recorded temperatures colder than Mars. And I'm not joking. You can look up the numbers. The North Dakotans were freaking celebrating that fact. It was like 45 below zero, and Mars was 30 below zero. And we're like, hey, what's summer on Mars? It's warmer there. Okay. Depends on the version of Huntsman, Melky, from what I understand. Scotty is a spider whisperer, though, so he would definitely have the info on that. Wolf spiders, from what I understand, can be trained to eat from the hand. It takes a lot of work, but you can do it. My ex-wife had a wolf spider. And I'm not trying to go through my list of exes, but I have learned a lot from every woman I have dated, of which of which I can still count on a single hand. Whenever I end up with a new person, which could be whenever, I have no fucking clue. That's when I'll have to start using the second hand, but I've dated 5 people in my life, and each one has taught me something really interesting and cool. Oh, congrats, Orlando. Okay, so that makes me feel better that you just need to update your malware protection. Those fowls, I don't know who designed the frickin' graphic for the fowls, but holy shit. They did it like, it's like something out of a friggin' horror film. It's like an imp on crack. No, it's like an imp on meth, if I remember correctly. That is good information to have. See, I always like, from what I understood was that like if a tarantula bites you, you'll probably fall asleep after like half an hour, and then you're over it. Wolf spiders I heard were painful, but not damaging. I know that black widows are a problem, but they don't kill many people a year. They're, for the most part, they're not. They can be deadly, but they aren't generally deadly. The brown recluse, I believe, is necroptic, and that's why they're dangerous. Correct me if I'm wrong. See, I think spiders are cool. I think snakes are cool. I still jump when I see one unexpectedly, but that, come to find out, happens to be, that's a circuit. We can't stop that. Spiders, too, I think. So there are certain predators that humans have had since, like, before we were humans that we will naturally react to. Snakes are one of them. Which is really funny because a creature that would have previously predated on us are now our pets. So, like ball pythons. You know, if you were to take a ball python and drop it into the world, like, I don't know, a couple million years ago, maybe even, yeah, call it 5 million years ago, before we separated from chimps. A ball python probably would have been our predator, and now we keep it in a tank as a pet. And there are a lot of spiders that are the same way. That is a great rule of thumb, Scotty. Yes, 100%. I will say this. And I know, I'm almost positive they're endangered, so of course you can't keep them as a pet. But if I were to have a pet spider, I want the blue tarantula. There is a gorgeous blue tarantula. And it is probably the most beautiful thing I have ever seen that has more than 4 legs. Come on. So I'm trying to find a photo of it while I'm frickin'... Here we go. So there's the Wikipedia article. Yes, it is 100% worth getting a space vehicle. Get a quad wing, not so a Sleipnir is good for good for intraplanetary. So when you're on a planet, Sleipnir 100%. It's fuel efficient. The speed isn't much less than other vehicles. Great thing to use. I love my Sleipnir for being on the planet. If you're in space, get a fucking quad wing. Get a quad wing. Do not waste your time in a Sleipnir. You'll be in space forever. So I have both. Let's compare. Pin that fucker. Okay. So the quad wing burns almost twice the oil of the Sleipnir. It is twice if you're just standing still. The speed is everything, because that kilometers per hour is planetary. Up in space, kilometers are basically replaced with AUs, and the speed makes the difference. So if you're going from Calypso to Toulon and a quad wing, it's an hour flight. No shit, it's an hour flight. And we're talking from Calypso to Toulon. That's 60 minutes in space. Now imagine doing that with a Sleipnir. If you're going to go into space, get the quad wing. It's 100% worth the effort. Or worth the expense. Currently they're at 191. Why did I do that? Put the laser back on. Oh shit, my space thrusters is getting low. Good to know. Good to know. Holy shit. Did not realize that my space thruster was getting that low. I might need to... I might need to purchase one and have it shipped to me before I go back to Calypso, bros. That's not cool. It is not at all. Anyway. So, baseline of 38 ped with 191 markup. You're looking at like $5, $6 USD to purchase one. It's not super expensive. And then like this, so as an example, the Sleipnir, it's 141. So you're looking at $3 USD. I mean, it was a lot more when I bought it. So like when I bought my quad wing, I spent 15 USD on it. And now it's only like 5. So the market's actually gotten a lot better. And yes, I have been shot down by pirates. I have shot down pirates. And my captain level is really low. If you're in a Sleipnir, you're basically pirate food. If you're in a quad, there's still a good chance they're going to attack you. I spent the money on a Kismet laser. I do some space hunting. Not much, but a little bit. but pirates have really high captain ratings. So just be aware of that. Which means they're going to be able to not take damage when you are taking damage. And they're going to bullshit you with things like, oh yeah, I've got this shield that doesn't actually fucking exist. It's just that their level is much higher than you because their profession is standing up there, and they'll be in the non-active pilot seat of their vehicle. And then there it is. You can often outrun them in a quad. If they're not in a quad themselves. If they're in a quad, fuck it. I turn and fight. Like, I don't run away from danger. I freaking... If someone's attacking me, I bulldog them. And even if I lose, at least I can say I fought. And actually, if you turn and fight, the pirates will have much more respect for you. They will. If you have a pirate that attacks you, and you turn around and start shooting back, they'll only attack you once. And it's out of respect. It's not because they think that, they're going to get more out of it. It's because it's out of respect. They'll totally be like, okay, you've got the gall to actually shoot back. Respect. And yes, the markets on other planets, maybe Toulon and Monria at this point notwithstanding, are much slower than everywhere else. Than at Calypso, rather. Okay, we are at the end of our evening, actually, and we've had a really good night. So let's see how much loot we have accumulated. Now, keep in mind, we started with like 300 ped worth of ammo. Holy shit. Okay, let's pull up. I gotta pull up my spreadsheet here. And today is the 23rd of September. $334.37, which actually almost brings us back to where I started the last time I purchased, because when I purchased ammo last. Okay, so previous to my repairs, that actually brings me below the last time I bought ammo. $94 ped. So, if I can recover 84 more ped, I will have made a profit. That's pretty spectacular. That is amazing. You can see all the pet I have locked up in my storage. I need to do a smuggling run to get the things that are tradable on Calypso and nowhere else back to Calypso. But you really have to do you have to know what you're doing when you're smuggling. Like, smuggling is dangerous. If a pirate catches you, you're fucked. But if you can get the goods back to Calypso, you can get the markup. Correct. It does not include markup. So, okay. We are going to end the stream. It's after 10:30. So, everyone, thank you so much for coming tonight. This is a really successful stream. It's actually more successful than my single player streams. So I appreciate everyone for coming. Thank you for watching. Thank you for listening. Please like, share, and subscribe down below. We are on the road to 13 million subscribers, one subscription at a time, so make sure you subscribe. And as always, I really appreciate the support. This has been a lot of fun. I really miss streaming in EU. We've had a good time, and I will see you in the next one.